Is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Scolese, for being here and for your service to NASA and to our country. Norm Augustine, of course, who's heading up the Human Spaceflight Review, testified before our committee in 2004, and he said it would be a grave mistake to try to pursue a space program on the cheap. To do so, in my opinion, is an invitation to disaster. And I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but obviously we're really concerned that the 2010 budget looks positive, but I'm more concerned, as other members are, about the out-year budget that would cut more than $3 billion for the exploration program, adding to cuts made in previous years and essentially halting the work on the Ares 5 heavy-lift launch vehicle and the Altair lunar lander. Your testimony confirms, and we've heard the President talk about the mission of going back to the moon by 2010, but I don't know how we're going to be able to achieve this given the budget plan. So, Mr. Scolese, how does NASA plan to achieve the 2020 goal under the budget that's being proposed? And also, based on the fiscal year 2010 budget request, do you have sufficient funding to maintain the current schedule for completion of Ares 1 and Orion?
On the last part first, we believe with the current budget, we can complete Ares 1 and Orion and the associated elements by 2015. You may recall in previous testimony by Administrator Griffin that we needed additional resources to try and accelerate and hold the 2015 date. And we needed those resources in 2008, 9, and 10. And we've received them in 9 and 10. So that helps us, considerably with Ares 1 and Orion and all the associated elements. And in fact, you can see a lot of those coming together. Anybody that visits Kennedy Space Center will see that going on today, as well as our other facilities. As far as the other elements, we're in the process of evaluating what that means. We have not stopped work on Ares 5. We're still doing some work on that, and some of that work comes from the development of Ares 1. The solid rocket motor and the J2 engine are both integral to the Ares 5, plus some additional work is going on. But the overall impact, we're in the process of assessing what that will mean in terms of our ability to do 2020 and what we do by 2020. So I don't have a good answer for the impact, but clearly the situation as it stands right now means that we couldn't do the program of record, putting humans on the moon by 2020. We may be able to do something lesser in that time frame, but we haven't completed the work to answer that question fully.
I know other members are probably going to drill down a little bit harder on the budget, but I'd like to shift gears. The Science and Tech Committee held a hearing earlier this year that looked at the current export controls regime that is current in our commercial space industry and the competitiveness factor for science and technology. I also serve on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and we're currently considering legislation that relates to export controls. So I'd be interested in your thoughts on how big an impact ITAR and export controls are having on NASA's ability to carry out our international space collaborations and joint research projects. And are there some problems that you can specifically talk about and ways that we can improve the situation?
Yes, there are issues with ITAR. It does make our ability to work with our international partners more difficult from a NASA perspective. We have issues in how we can, frankly, go off and communicate technical information, because we have to protect information and technologies that, frankly, are widely available. So it adds some additional complexities to what we do. The bigger impact is probably to our industry, where they have less opportunity to compete for work due to the delays that it takes to get licenses and the ability to sell on the market whatever it is they have. That, of course, hurts our industry, but it also hurts us because it provides us with less. The industry is doing less, therefore our products are costing more as we become the main customer for industry rather than them sharing it. There's statistics on communication satellites where we held 60–70% of the market, and we're down to 25% today. That has an impact on the industry, obviously, but it has an impact on us because they were building satellites that we could take advantage of to buy down our cost for our scientific satellites and other activities. So it has impacts all the way across the board. And finally, there's an impact in our ability to work with people because it takes longer for us to get the authority to work with internationals that may have dual citizenship. So right across the spectrum, it's an issue for us.
Thank you, Mr. Scalise. Thank you, Mr.
Gentlelady,
Chairman.
yield.
Yes.
NASA,